We've got an amazing lineup, so get excited. We've got all-stars from Meta, Uber, Voya Financial, Dropbox Plaid, Okta, and so much, much more. And to kick us off for today, I would love everyone to give a very warm welcome to all the way from New Zealand, our very own CEO and co-founder, Benjamin Humphrey. Let's give him a round of applause, everybody.
Welcome to Inside Out 2024. So excited to be here, and thank you for joining us here in San Francisco at the Fort Mason Center down on the waterfront. It is a beautiful day outside. I think San Francisco's really turned on the weather for us. This is my 10th trip here actually in the last couple of years, and it's normally very foggy and cold, so thank you for bringing the vibes and bringing the weather. As Sean said, I am originally from New Zealand. I do live in Australia now. However, I'm super pumped to share a bunch of stuff with you today, and I just want to thank you all for making the time to come out as well. We have about 500 people here in person in San Francisco, and we have thousands more on the YouTube live stream. So hello everybody online. I see there are people dialing in from Sweden and Germany and the Netherlands, and it's just amazing to see how much engagement we're getting with this, so it's awesome. I actually believe that there are some people who have dialed in from Australia and New Zealand, where it is 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Hey Mum, how you going? It's great to see so many familiar faces in the audience as well, so many of our customers and so many of our partners and investors as well. So we have some incredible speakers today that I can't wait to learn from, and I'm really excited. So today I'm super excited to share some of the biggest advancements in Dovetail yet. And I'm going to explain how we navigated the AI echo chamber and all of the hype around AI over the last year, mostly by listening to customers, including many of you sitting in this room, to figure it all out. So if we look back at the past year, some will remember it as the year that AI went mainstream. And for others, it was a year of reconnection with friends and family, colleagues and customers, more events like this. For me, though, 2023 was the year that my original vision for Dovetail became possible. Before I explain what I mean, I just want to take you back and share the insight that led to the start of Dovetail. So we exist to improve the quality of everything. That is our mission. Whether it's a software product, an electric car, a power tool, or a government service. And we believe that great things are made by teams who talk to their customers. The problem is that in many orgs, it's actually really difficult to get direct face time with customers. And I'm sure a lot of you experience this regularly. And leveraging the insights from teams who do talk to customers often, like sales and CS and support and research, is also quite difficult. This could be due to fragmented data silos, or silos between teams and collaboration challenges, or compliance reasons. So when I started Dovetail, I felt like there were so many tools to help teams build products. Product managers had Confluence for requirements and Notion and Jira and Asana, and designers had Sketch at the time and now Figma. And engineers have, super spoiled, right? They have everything from AWS to VS Code to GitHub and Linear and Datadog, a real, plethora of tools. A lot of us here work in R&D teams, and while so many amazing tools exist to help you build something, I felt like there wasn't that many tools to help you figure out what to build. And after all, development is just one half of this acronym, and building the right thing right is super important. So when you build something, you don't just dive into a Figma design file. You don't just jump into a Jira ticket. You don't just write your Confluence requirements. It's not as simple as design, build, and ship, unless you're one of those product managers who builds their roadmap based on a shower thought. Really, almost everything that's successful starts with some kind of insight. An insight on your users and the pain points they have, on the market, on the competitors, on your customers. Before Dovetail, I was working at Atlassian as a product designer, and I always wanted to know more about how our customers used our software so that I could do a better job as a designer. And there was just no obvious place for me to go to inform my design work. Common practice was to simply ask somebody. So for me, I asked this product manager called Sharif. Sharif had been at Atlassian a long time and had a lot of institutional knowledge. The problem is that when people like Sharif leave a business, they take all of that knowledge with them. This isn't really true for designers and engineers if you think about it. Designers, all their work is in Figma. Engineers, all their work is in GitHub. But when a researcher leaves, a product manager leaves, somebody in customer success, where do all of those insights end up? The business actually loses that knowledge. And so the more I thought about it, the stranger I felt it was. Businesses have no system of record for one of their biggest competitive advantages. Their unique knowledge of the market, their customers, their buyers, the competitors. These are the insights that, for me, they fuel the strategy, the vision, and the roadmaps. A single place where a product manager can go to learn about positioning or to build a roadmap or prioritize. Someone from marketing could go to get some ideas for messaging, or sales coaching, or a designer to inform their design work. Where you could answer questions like this. Or maybe something more specific, for example, improving conversion if you work in a growth team. Or perhaps something that I might ask as a startup founder. So my vision for Dovetail was that it contained everything a business knows about its customers. And rather than relying on the Sharif in your organization and all of that institutional knowledge, just ask Dovetail. This is what I always wanted to build, what I call a customer insights hub. But back in 2017, the technology just wasn't there. So Dovetail enables teams to uncover the why, to make sense of everything from customer calls to surveys, to implement strategy and roadmaps through insights. And the consensus is that it certainly beats the spreadsheet, and I've been super blown away by the love for Dovetail over the years, especially from many of you in this room. I want to tell you a little bit about Taylor Pekarczyk at Atlassian. So he is the head of product for a product at Atlassian called Compass, which they launched, I think, last year. And his teams used Dovetail to create this product. He has over 260 full-length, one-hour video interviews about Compass in Dovetail, and that's how he figured out what to build. It's a great insights hub for their team, and he mentioned to me that it's especially useful for new starters who join the Compass team. Or Mila at Horton Mifflin Harcourt. So HMH develops educational content and online learning material, and they conduct a lot of research with students and teachers and parents. And while they had a lot of research that they built up over the years, which they did figure out how to centralize, Dovetail actually allowed them to leverage that more effectively, instead of just sitting in some sort of Google Drive or a Dropbox folder. So Taylor and Mila are just two examples of the thousands of users across our diverse customer base. From healthcare to automotive to manufacturing, it's incredible to see Dovetail power insights at so many of these great companies. And I think there are some people here today from the logos up there. And so I want to thank you for using Dovetail. So we look at every project, every highlight, every insight in our product as a step closer to our mission of helping you improve the products and services that you're working on. And in the past year alone, you've been really busy with Dovetail, creating over 140,000 projects, 26 million highlights, and over 600,000 insights. And I see this as a collective effort towards improving the quality of everything. So last year, when AI exploded, I saw how it could unlock entirely new possibilities. I saw people trying to use ChatGPT to analyze unstructured data. And I also saw a lot of ChatGPT wrapper tools trying to help with product discovery and research. But honestly, for me, a lot of those felt like solutions looking for a problem. And the problem that we're ultimately solving doesn't really have anything to do with a specific technology. I feel like it's this. How do teams actually decide what to build next? I realized it was really important for us as a business to more deeply understand this. And so last year, we ran a series of projects to uncover how teams leverage insights to make decisions. We spoke to product leaders, designers, and CEOs, and founders all throughout last year. Of course, we used Dovetail for all this work. We also dived deep into how AI could enhance workflows, and we talked to a lot of you about your feelings around AI. And you have a lot of feelings around AI. And we asked, what are the inputs that feed into strategy and roadmaps and design? And ultimately, how do you figure out what to build next? So we actually developed a view on the types of insights that an organization collects. And we separated these insights into implicit and explicit and qual and quant. So explicit insights are often created when the intention is to learn. So for example, interviews and usability testing. Whereas an implicit insight is perhaps something that comes out through a support ticket. Maybe someone's sent a support ticket through where they say, hey, I can't reset my password. And the intention is not really to get an insight from that, but you know as a designer that perhaps you need to improve that flow. We also mapped how product teams use these inputs to make decisions. Basically, how do they decide what to build next? And I see some smiles. Yes, it's incredibly complex. This shouldn't be too surprising. Teams need to leverage many different data sources, work with multiple stakeholders, deal with all those kinds of different inputs, from research insights through to what the business needs, goals, OKRs, you name it. And to put it simply, insights are really just too slow, and their shelf life is often limited. So today, we're here to solve that. And I want to show you how we used all of those research projects that we did last year to inform our product roadmap, how we're utilizing new technology like AI to streamline workflows and improve efficiency. And I want to run you through a few new features that we're launching to help you decide what to build next. So let's jump into it. So that's a sneak peek at some of the new features that I'm excited to launch today. We're launching some of our biggest advancements yet, and the theme for this launch is magic. And what magic means for us is experiences that fit seamlessly into your workflow. So rather than look to replace humans with AI entirely, our approach is what we call human in the loop. And what you just saw was a sneak peek. So I'm going to jump in now and show you a little bit more. But first, I want to share that we actually asked every attendee, both online and here in person, to complete a survey. And 78% of you told us that the time it actually takes to get to insights hinders product development. So I want you to imagine if you could transform interviews, sales calls, market research, industry reports, support tickets into insights quickly like magic. So that you can make customer-backed decisions, motivate designers and engineers to build that next differentiated feature, give leadership confidence in your strategy and your approach. And I believe that now you can. So let's jump in. I'm going to drag and drop a customer call into Dovetail. You can also connect Zoom, Meet, Teams, and import video and audio recordings. So Dovetail now actually transcribes your video automatically, so you don't have to click a button. We've improved speaker recognition by 25% for even more accurate transcripts in 41 languages. That was a big piece of feedback that a lot of you had. And we're working towards further improvements to transcription this year. So I want to show you a new feature that we've recently launched called Magic Summarize. It automatically summarizes any video or audio call, breaking it into chapters, and allows you to quickly navigate the transcript. So I'm going to show you now. We're going to head up to the top right of the screen and open up this new sidebar. And here you can see we've broken up the video into chapters, and we've named each topic that was discussed. So this actually enables you and your team to really quickly jump specifically to topics in any video, and it cuts down the time it takes to get to insight. Because we don't expect AI to fully take the reins, the summaries are actually editable. So I'm going to add some context by just hovering over the edit button and maybe adding a bit of context saying, hey, this is actually a common thing that we see across multiple different users. So now when I share this with someone on my team, they have that extra context. This is an example, as I mentioned before, like the human in the loop. We don't want AI to fully replace workflows. We want you to still be in control. You'll also notice this new sidebar. And so a bunch of metadata, like fields and highlights, tags, comments, are easily accessible, but won't overwhelm new users who are just starting out with Dovetail. Magic Summarize also works well on documents. So you can actually drag any PDF or PowerPoint or Keynote deck into Dovetail, and we will extract all the content and summarize it for you as well. And it happens pretty quickly. Don't forget, you can also highlight and tag documents in Dovetail. So we've actually been testing Magic Summarize with a few customers, and the feedback's been great so far. I know a bunch of you have been using it as well. So Heather at Webflow mentioned that the new Magic features open up a whole new world of possibilities. And specifically, she calls out how the automatic timestamps makes it easy for visitors to digest the most relevant insights when she shares like a customer interview, for example. Now, highlighting in Dovetail allows you to quickly highlight moments in the transcript and extract important things to turn them into reels. I'm going to switch from the Summary tab to the Highlights tab in the sidebar. And here you'll see one of our new features that we call Magic Highlight. So Magic Highlight automatically suggests highlights in transcripts, massively reducing the manual work. I'm going to click Suggest and see what Dovetail has to suggest. So when you get a suggestion, we actually give you a reason for why Dovetail thinks that this is important. Thank you, Eniola. So the reason that Dovetail thinks this is important is that it indicates a long time and frequent use of the app. I should give you a little bit of context. So all of this data is basically imagining that I'm a product manager and we're building a streaming service, an app. And so Maddie here has mentioned that she uses it for many years, and Dovetail thinks that that is important context. So we're going to go through and accept or reject a couple of these highlights. Now, our research actually found, and it may be no surprise to all of you, that users aren't 100% confident in AI yet. And in line with our human-in-the-loop approach, you're always in control. You'll notice that this is a theme throughout all of our Magic features. We're not trying to replace the workflow entirely with AI. So I'm just going to reject that last one, and you'll see the highlights are applied. For even more control over the suggestions, you can actually tell Dovetail your learning goal. So here I'm going to type in a custom prompt, and I'm going to say, hey, when exactly are folks using this streaming app? So I'm going to click Suggest again and see what Dovetail does. So it's actually suggested a couple of highlights for me that talk about Maddie using it when she's walking to Pilates and also when she's traveling to and from work. Now, I know I often don't have time to watch entire recordings of customer calls, and I'm sure a lot of your stakeholders don't either. So now you can actually click at the top of the video, the Highlights Only tab, and this will shorten a video that may be half an hour or an hour long to just the key moments. So when you take Magic Summarize, Magic Highlight, and we're calling this Magic Reels together, you can condense video from 30 minutes or an hour to just the key moments in only a few seconds. This is a great way for your team to consume the most important moments on calls without needing to watch the entire video. And we're working on another tab at the moment which does this automatically based on the summary. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but on this call, Maddie actually accidentally shared her password. Before sharing this with your team, you can now use Magic Redact to select things in the transcript and remove them. We also blur video, we silence the audio as well. Now, we know that participant privacy is a really big deal for a lot of our customers, especially in enterprise. And Magic Redact is yet another feature that we've launched in a long list of features over the past 18 months to support our largest customers to help with compliance. So lastly, I'm going to share this specific highlight at the end with my colleague, Anne-Marie. So our product team in Dovetail is actually based in Sydney, Australia. We have about 80 people in Sydney. And our go-to-market team is here in San Francisco. We have about 20 people in San Francisco. So after our sales folks and CS folks get off a customer call, they'll actually highlight interesting quotes like this, and they'll share them immediately with the product team in Sydney. And our engineers love hearing directly from customers off the back of these calls and prospects from out in the field. All right, I want to shift gears a little bit and go deeper. So I'm going to actually jump over to the highlight canvas in this project. Now, thanks to Magic Highlight, we actually have a whole bunch of highlights of important moments across a bunch of different customer calls and documents. I want to look at those highlights from a different perspective, so I'm going to grab them and drag them onto the canvas to start finding patterns. And then I'm going to use a new feature called Magic Cluster. Now, Magic Cluster automatically groups highlights by theme. It uses machine learning and large language models to figure out what the thematic classification is of these unstructured highlights. Now, as we know, AI isn't perfect yet, but as always, you're in control. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of the highlights and move them to a different group. It works just like any other affinity mapping tool. You've also been asking us to be able to duplicate highlights on the canvas. Now you can do that by just copying and pasting a highlight. You can also add a duplicate from the reference picker. So lastly, what I want to show you is that we've made it a lot easier to go from this view now to a shareable and actionable insight, and also a highlight reel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab that group on the left-hand side, and I'm going to add that to an insight. I'm going to call it latest feedback from our users. And in only a few seconds, we can create an engaging and shareable insight. We can also add context around it inside the insight if that's useful for our team. So let's jump over to the Insights tab and have a look what it looks like. Now, one of the cool things here is that we can actually use Magic Summarize on Insights as well. And what Summarize is doing here is actually summarizing all of those clips from all of those different calls. So now you have a shareable insight with a reel from multiple different customers and a summary of that theme in just a few minutes. Hopefully you can see how you can go from a bunch of different customer calls or documents or audio recordings from multiple people to a shareable insight, complete with direct video evidence, and share that with your team. So at Dovetail, one of the ways that we use this is we have a monthly customer showcase where we all sit together as one big company and we watch highlights from customer calls in reels just like this. And many of you here have been shown on the big screen in the Dovetail office. It's a great way to embed customers in our culture. One of our values is put the customer first, and we obviously try to be very customer-centric. And also align our product team behind the biggest problems that our customers are facing. So with Dovetail, not only can you find insights super quickly to drive decisions, but you can also drive a culture of customer centricity. And it's great for uncovering patterns in interviews or collating feedback you're hearing through sales discovery calls, pain points and usability testing, or establishing themes from a bunch of industry reports or market research. So what I just showed you was Magic Transcribe, Summarize, Highlight, Reels, Redact, and Clusters. 6 new features in Dovetail, all of which enabled us to go from a few calls to shareable insights in only a few minutes. And the good news is that all of these magic features are available now in Dovetail and GA. Thank you. But what if the answer already exists and you just need to find it? I'm super excited to introduce Magic Search in Dovetail. It's a whole new way to find answers to your customer questions. So let's dive in and check out Magic Search. Now, it starts with a question. I'm going to ask about customer challenges. So I'm just going to jump in here and type a question like, what are the top challenges that customers have? And rather than a simple keyword search, Magic Search actually uses semantic search to return results based on meaning. With all of your insights in Dovetail, this means you can actually ask your Insights Hub questions and get answers. We actually answer your question through a magic summary of the search results, which means there's no need to read through endless transcripts and documents or survey responses. And I know what you're thinking, what if the insights are no longer relevant, or maybe it's in a different team or department? We've also redesigned search filtering, so you can really easily drill down and say, hey, I just want to see things from the last few months, Or hey, I just want to see things from this folder because that's my department and not the other department. This is really important for our bigger customers who have thousands and thousands of highlights and insights across multiple teams and departments in one workspace. So once you've applied some filters, you can rerun the summary and get an answer that's scoped down. You may notice there are some numbers in the summary. Well, we know how important it is that you can trust these generated summaries. So we've launched citations in summaries that actually allow you to trace the real data and insights back to the source that they came from. So in this case, I've clicked on a citation, and it's taken me to the original call and scrolled me right down to the specific quote that led to that answer. All those transcripts and highlights and documents that we created earlier contribute to the answers in Magic Search. And yes, you can also create an insight directly from the search results. So at the bottom of the summary, we're going to click Create Insight, and that's actually going to take all of those references and all those citations and apply them as evidence inside a shareable insight. So you can actually write some context around this, and you can share that with your team, and you can also summarize, obviously, all of this content too. I personally believe that this actually changes the nature of what an insight is. Rather than it being something that's created at the end of a project for use in some uncertain future where you don't really know what the context is going to be, it actually makes it an on-demand insight that stakeholders can use at the time that it's needed to inform a design ideation session, to inform a roadmap planning, prioritization session, or even a board meeting. So we've been trying out Magic Search with a few customers, and Carolina from AppFire is really impressed, and she thinks that it helps her uncover deeper insights from the hub. And the summarization in particular simplifies the process. So to recap, we've fundamentally changed search in Dovetail with semantic search, summaries, citations, one-click insights, and redesigned filtering. We've also shipped exact matching, so if you do want to do keyword searching, you can just use quotes. Magic Search is also available now to all customers on our newest paid plans. So Magic Search really showcases the value in building an insights hub and enables self-service insights, which in turn allows teams to figure out what to design and build and ship. Not to mention being a great tool for go-to-market teams to influence the product roadmap, which is one of the big ways that we use Dovetail at Dovetail. However, after you ship something, you don't stop listening to customers. Great product teams continue listening to user feedback on what they've shipped, and they factor the improvements into the product roadmap. I'm talking feedback in support tickets, or app reviews, or posts on your community forum, even social media. I know that many of you probably have support teams that are getting thousands of support tickets every month, or perhaps you have a lot of reviews on the Play Store or on the App Store that you don't really know what to do with. So today, I'm super excited to introduce channels in Dovetail. It is a new way for product teams to turn user feedback into real-time, continuous, and actionable insights. So channels actually uses machine learning and large language models to automatically and continuously classify high-volume, unstructured data. And it's built for scale. It works on tens of thousands of data points. From a single dashboard, you can now track all of your high-volume voice of customer feedback. And Dovetail will continuously classify new data coming in and bucket into themes. So as a product manager, this helps you uncover patterns before they become problems. And it keeps you in front of issues so that you can more effectively prioritize roadmaps. There's no more tagging feedback manually in a spreadsheet with channels. Channels integrates natively with Intercom, Jira Service Management Front, and Zendesk right now, with many more first-party integrations coming, including the Google Play Store and the App Store. You can actually have different channels in Dovetail, like for different teams or departments, and a channel can also support multiple different data sources as well, so you can connect multiple integrations to one channel. Now let's dive into a channel and check out its features. So first up, in this case, we're looking at a support tickets channel. And I want to narrow in on a specific date range. Maybe you've just shipped a new feature, or you've fixed a bug. And so I'm going to go and filter from last 90 days to just the past 28 days. So in line with the human-in-the-loop approach, you'll work hand in hand with our classification engine to surface the themes that are important to you. It's still early days, and we're still refining the way that the themes are classified to make sure they're as accurate as possible. And as I'm sure a lot of you know, AI has plenty of limitations and quirks. So we've made sure that you can rename themes, you can merge them, you can split them, and you're totally in control of what the dashboard looks like. I've just selected a couple of themes and I've merged them. So let's jump into a single theme. So clicking a theme opens it in a sidebar. I'm going to click on one of these themes here, request technical support. And as you can see, the theme actually has a summary. So many users requested technical support for various audio issues, including playback and quality problems. And this is a summary of all of these support tickets that are in that theme. It's sort of ever-changing because obviously the channel is alive and real-time. I can click on one of these support tickets and see the raw data. And if you've connected Intercom or Front or Zendesk, there's a link to go into that tool and see it there. Lastly, I want to show you one more feature, which is channel activity. So for us at Dovetail, this has actually replaced our monthly support summaries. Our support team doesn't have to spend time writing a report of like what they're seeing from customers every month. Instead, you can just come in here and click, you see the 4 updates button. And that will open up an activity feed and give you a summary of what you've seen since you last visited. So Channels is available in beta to all paying customers. It's currently on a wait list, and you can navigate to beta features in workspace settings, or just head to dovetail.com, find Channels, and sign up for the wait list. So not only does Dovetail help you with product discovery at the beginning of the life cycle, giving you the insights to spark your next innovation, but it also helps you understand how everything went by enabling you to track your voice of customer feedback, your support tickets, your reviews, and so on. Ultimately, what we want to do is motivate your team by hearing customer problems directly and straight from the source. And we want to help you figure out what to build next. We had a lot of fun last year trying to figure out how to use AI in Dovetail and how to apply it. We did a lot of research and we talked to a lot of people. And we tried to escape the AI echo chamber by finding real problems and solving them in a real way with intention, rather than just approaching it as a sort of ChatGPT wrapper. So thanks to everybody who contributed to our research in the past 12 months. Really excited to unveil all of these new features. And thank you so much for listening to me. You can head to dovetail.com and try it out. And if you're an existing customer, we've got a lot of people here today you can speak to. So thanks so much. I'm